keeping them honest with breaking news about that 747 the Qatari royal family is giving to President Trump, which he will keep, he says, for his library after leaving office. We learned today that it could take 2 years and $750 million or more to bring the plane up to Air Force One standards. Now, that's according to a person familiar with the matter. $750 million or more to take it apart, check for surveillance devices, then refit it with the defenses, communications gear, and all the rest a commander-in-chief needs. In short, all the gear already on the 747 he flew to Saudi Arabia for a day of pomp and ceremony, fighter escort included, and which he'll fly in just a few hours to Qatar for more of the same. His current 747, though, aging, already has all of that, and so will the new 747 Boeing is building, which is years behind schedule, as the president has pointed out, but which the company now says it could deliver in the next 2 years. In other words, about the same delivery time as the one the president says he'd be stupid not to take.
I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person, say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture.
Well, that notwithstanding, the gift, which Mr. Trump actually took a tour of back in February, raises ethical, constitutional, foreign policy, and national security concerns, some or all of which a number of Republican lawmakers and other Trump loyalists are speaking about. Here's Senator Mike Rounds, who sits on the Intelligence Committee, comparing the plane to a Trojan horse.
It seems to me that the Greeks actually had something like that happen one time, a long, long time ago, and somebody happened to have brought a golden horse inside of a community. This aircraft is beautiful, and it would be great if we could accept it, but security concerns are also there.
Well, Senator John Cornyn, also on the Intelligence Committee, said off camera, I just know that our adversaries are pretty creative at planting all sorts of listening devices and other sensors, so I'd be very concerned about that. Senator Lisa Murkowski, also off camera, said, when you get something of that value from a country, one typically thinks that there's something in it for the country that is offering it. So I think there's certainly a lot of questions. Senator Rand Paul is opposed on ethical grounds.
There is a provision in the Constitution that says you can't do this. I think it's not worth the appearance of impropriety. Whether it's improper or not, I don't think it's worth it.
Other GOP lawmakers, though, are showing less firmness in their views on the matter. Senator Josh Hawley says he'd prefer a made-in-America plane, which, other than the interior done by a French design firm, it is. Senator Thom Tillis seems to be approaching the question as the management consultant he once was.
And then you got to work through the cost benefit of it, right? I mean, we're in a world of Doge, so we got to figure out whether it's worth upfitting or writing a check, selling it, and writing a check to the Treasury and help us with our debt reduction.
Well, Majority Leader John Thune, on the other hand, would not weigh in at all because it seems it's just not real to him yet.
I don't think there's anything official out there. This is a hypothetical, and I'm sure that if and when there is, it's no longer a hypothetical. I can assure you there will be plenty of scrutiny of whatever that arrangement might look like.
Senator Joni Ernst tried a version of the old I haven't seen the tweet answer, telling CNN's Monterraggio, I haven't heard specifics about the plane. I don't know anything about it. As for Democrats, there's widespread criticism, of course, with Senate Majority Leader Schumer saying he is placing a blanket hold on all Justice Department political nominees until he receives answers on the plane. However, that hold can be overcome by a simple majority, which Republicans now hold. And some Republican lawmakers, such as Montana Congressman and former Trump Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, he's apparently not worried.
Do you have any ethics concerns or constitutional concerns?
I'm glad Pam Bondi stepped in and looked at it from a legal point of view, which is helpful. You know, again, I'll go back. This must be one heck of a plane, because he was on Air Force One. I've been on Air Force One. Right. To me, it's a nice plane. Evidently, remember who President Trump is. He's a billionaire businessman from New York. He doesn't sleep in a sleep bag overnight. You know, he's making deals, and I think it's transactional to him. He looks at it and goes, hey, it's a better airplane. His comment was, you'd be stupid not to take it. I think that's from a business point of view, because he is a business guy. He goes out and, you know, he's making deals everywhere, and he's Mr. Deal Maker.
Well, keeping him honest, you may remember that as Interior Secretary, he was found to have broken ethics rules while in office by the department's Inspector General. The congressman's seal of approval or not, there is criticism as well from some of the president's biggest backers in the right-wing media world.
Taking sacks of goodies from people who support Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, Al Jazeera, all the rest, that's not America first. Like, please define America first in a way that says you should take sacks of cash from the Qatari royals who are behind Al Jazeera. It just isn't America first in any conceivable way. So back to the original question. Is this good for President Trump? Is it good for his agenda? Is it good for draining the swamp and getting things done? The answer is no, it isn't. It isn't. If you want President Trump to succeed, this kind of skeezy stuff needs to stop.
Laura Loomer, another fierce Trump loyalist, says she cannot support the president on this, but his staunchest critic might just come from out of the past, namely from Donald Trump. Writing about President Obama in 2012, his tweet reads, "How many illegal foreign donations will Obama collect this final week?" Another scandal ignored by the liberal media. CNN Chief White House correspondent Kaitlan Collins starts us off tonight from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Did the White House, do you think, fully grasp how much controversy over this jet would follow the president on this trip?
No, Anderson, it's not clear that they did, because ever since we started reporting on this over the weekend, as we were talking to officials getting ready to come here to Riyadh, they were defending this move and saying that they had been looking around for a plane. The president had been frustrated by delays by Boeing. And then obviously once the reporting was public that he did plan to accept this plane after touring it earlier this year, that's really when the scrutiny started to come in. But I should note, it's about 3 a.m. here in Riyadh. The president just posted on Truth Social defending taking this plane from the Qataris, saying that only a fool would not take a free plane from them, suggesting that in the end it will actually end up saving American taxpayers money by not paying for the plane. Of course, we do know our reporting has shown that this, even though it will go from the Ministry of Defense here, or the Ministry of Defense in Qatar, to the Pentagon, it's still going to have to be modified to be usable by a president. There's a lot of security modifications that have to go to that, including state-of-the-art communication systems, air-to-air missiles to protect the president and those who are traveling with him. I mean, there's the list goes on and on, Anderson, of just how much has to go into that. But what we have been hearing from officials behind the scenes is just really simply defending this. None of them that I've been speaking to have backed off this notion of taking this plane or questioned whether or not they should. They seem very intent that this is still the plan that they are going to do. And I think being on the ground here today, and I was at that Saudi investment forum earlier today for about 10 hours where the president was, where he came in with the Saudi crown prince. They were looking at all the investment that the crown prince is making here in Saudi Arabia and what that's going to look like, down to models that he had displayed around the room showing what this was going to look like. Part of it's called Vision 2030 that the Saudi crown prince is trying to implement here, to the tune of a lot of money. You can see why this is what appeals to President Trump. I mean, these are Gulf leaders who know how to speak his language. There's a lot of opulence here. They are flying around in their own massive planes. I mean, we were just looking around in the conference room as it was described earlier today. It does not look like your average conference room. There's these massive chandeliers. It is all an incredibly opulent affair, and you can hear in the president's voice and the way he talks about the Saudi crown prince and their relationship, just how much he appreciates him and what he thinks of him. And it's just such a stark contrast to when we were here 4 or 5 years ago, Anderson, and President Biden's aides were worried whether or not he should even shake the crown prince's hand after that U.S. intelligence found that he ordered the death of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And so it really just speaks to how the president views this overall. And I think the plane is just part of the lens to that, really, Anderson.
Yeah, Kaitlan, thanks very much. A reminder, you can join Kaitlan at the top of the hour for The Source. With me now from Capitol Hill is Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton of Massachusetts. He sits on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, you see the plane the president has accepted from Qatar, the business deals his family has made overseas, the crypto ventures, all against this backdrop of the Mideast trip. Is this the purest version of him that we are seeing lately?
It is. I mean, this is just President Trump who thinks he's above the law, doesn't mind violating the law, even the U.S. Constitution. And frankly, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more corruption as this administration takes its course.
The president has pitched this as a free airplane. He doesn't talk about the hundreds of millions it will cost taxpayers to retrofit it if he chooses to do that. They're really, I mean, is there really any such thing as a free gift when it comes to presidents and royal families and jumbo jets?
No, I mean, there's no free gift. It's hard to imagine that the Qataris aren't asking for something in return. And as you pointed out earlier, it's going to take a couple years to tear this plane apart, because the Qataris would be crazy not to try to bug every nook and cranny of this thing. So the entire thing will have to be taken apart, reconstructed. That's going to cost a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort that frankly should be just directed to fixing the problems at Boeing and getting the planes that the president ordered back on track.
Tonight, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, who used to be a constitutional lawyer, said that accepting the plane is not his decision, but he doesn't think it would violate the emoluments clause of the Constitution. Does it give Republican lawmakers some political cover to shrug it off then as not a big deal?
I mean, I've never heard Speaker Johnson agree with anything that Trump does or says, so that doesn't really tell us anything. But I think that most people can see that this clearly violates the Constitution, especially if Trump intends to take it for his own personal use after he leaves the presidency. I mean, France gave us the Statue of Liberty, but Grover Cleveland didn't take it home with him or put it in his library when he was not president anymore, and yet that's what Trump plans to do with his plane.